What is up, guys? Today's day 354 and today I want to talk with you guys about a question that was asked a lot recently, and that's why I decided to make a video about it, just to make everything clear and also make you guys understand why I made that certain decision about quitting the army and going to another job and living a civilian life. The first thing I wrote down is many times you are away from home and it's difficult to build things besides the job itself. And this is something that I found very difficult because every time when I wanted to bulk up and gain some weight or go to the gym consistently, I would need to go on an exercise, and you would sleep outside for 2-3 weeks and you would eat like only MREs, just bad food with very little nutrition inside of it. I was just like, yeah, what am I supposed to do? Like, go to the gym, and whenever I'm going on an exercise, my whole progress just gets shut down and I need to start all over again, and I never got somewhere. So that's one of the big reasons why I quit the army and left the army. So the second topic that I had to talk about was the mentality, and that everyone is small-minded. That the only thing they think about is just the army and the fact that they have to do their job, and sometimes they get some extra money for it, and that's enough for them. And whenever I would talk about doing something else, some people would look at me in a strange way, thinking like, what is this guy doing? Aren't you happy enough with your 2,100 euros that you get every month? And sometimes you get 800 euros extra because you're 2 or 3 weeks away from home. And it was just, I couldn't get satisfied with the things I got there. So it's very nice while it lasted, but for me it was highly recommended to just leave the army because there was no building towards my future or my goals. The third topic that I have is that in the army there are like 90% of the people, or at least 80% of the people, that have very bad habits. They drink Monster Energy like it's water, or Red Bull, or just any energy drink. And I was just so disgusted by the way some people lived, because they really wasted their full potential. So people would smoke their lungs out and they would drink 2 or 3 Monster Energies every day. And it's just, in my head, I was just like, why? Because we can always be better and we can always be stronger and we can be that person that most of the civilians will look up to because we're in the military and we do the rough things. But instead of thinking in that way, they just didn't live in a way that I would live myself. So I was always there, and the people would be vaping, the people would be drinking alcohol also when there were free moments, or we had a day off, or the exercise was over, they would immediately start drinking, and that's just not my life standard that I have. So it was for me a big red flag, the fact that everyone is just stuffing their body with caffeine, with nicotine, with alcohol, and sometimes even drugs. Every workspace or work floor has the people who do some things in their spare time, and I was not okay with people openly talking about going to a rave and listening to some techno or whatever it is. Partying paired with the alcohol and sometimes even the drugs, it was for me a big no-go zone. The fourth topic that I have to discuss or to talk about is the physical capabilities of the people. This is not for everyone. There are always exceptions, and there are always people who do it better and are doing it the right way. But this is just something I noticed a lot in the army. So you guys, or everyone, just knows that there is no such thing as peace. Ever since Putin invaded Ukraine and all that stuff, there was some more tension. And everything in the world with Palestine, also what is happening, it just makes the people uncertain about their future, because we never know what could happen to us here in the West. What the point I want to get to is the fact that many of my newer soldiers that I saw coming in from their basic training, their physical capabilities were slim to none. This is very unfortunate for me to tell, but this is the true reality about the unit I was in. And it's just the fact that people really had troubles with just running at a normal pace, doing their yearly tests, their basic tests with pull-ups, push-ups, and side bridge. it was already too much to ask. There were so many people having difficulties. There were even people, I still remember that one guy, there was one guy in another platoon, and he was, man, he was actually fat. Fat until a point I actually got angry when I saw him. And there were also some other people who cannot do the things that they needed to do. So I was just constantly frustrated and constantly angry at the people who weren't physically capable of doing what they should do. And it got to a point where I just said to the captain, like, the reason I'm stopping is because I cannot help these people. They don't want to be saved. They don't want to be helped. They don't want to get better. They just want a easy life with some comfort. And that was for me the moment I realized I need to go somewhere else where I get appreciated and I don't get confronted by the fact that there are lazy douchebags besides me that cannot even carry me 50 meters to a hardcover. If you would say, hypothetically speaking, I get shot at in a combat zone and they have to drag me to a cover to take care of me. I think at least 75% of the people were not able to do that, what I needed to get from them. So physical capabilities is one of the biggest topics I struggled with and one of the things I hated the most. If you are watching this and you were in the same unit as mine and you know by yourself that you are physically capable of doing whatever it takes, then don't be angry about what I'm saying. If you are in the same unit as me, you know who I'm talking about, you know the people I'm talking about, the lazy pricks who just always take the easy route. Whenever we had to go on a march for 32 kilometers and they just called themselves sick or they had a injury, you know, it's just, man, I could actually do them harm because that was just so frustrating, just knowing that your colleagues aren't even there for you whenever you need it. So the last topic I wanted to talk with you guys about, and this is also a very important topic, but because this is for us as Gen Z a big problem nowadays, and it was the fact that I needed more money. Very difficult to invest and to live with such a paycheck. I have been in the army for 4 years, and in those 4 years, especially the last 2 years, the only thing I could think about was, how is it possible that there are corporals here working here already for 8 years or people working there for 20 years? How is it possible that these people could live from only this paycheck? I was wondering. I even asked to some people, like, how much do you make? And I thought they made more money, and eventually turned out that they didn't even make so much money. So there were some people inside of the unit for 12 years and they only made 3,000 euros. And I was just like, damn, what am I supposed to do with this stuff? Because I need to invest, I need to pay rent, I need to pay for groceries, and I just have my basic needs that I need to pay for, so, some subscriptions such as the gym. And it was for me very confusing, like, how can these people live so minimalistic, which I do have respect for, but for me it was a big no-go zone. So I think with everything being said right now, or everything that I said currently, that this video is almost coming to an end, but this is just my own opinion. To be honest, I know I am a very extreme person if it comes to physical endurance and just looking good and feeling good and being able to perform in whatever circumstances that you get involved in. So maybe it's not as bad as I'm telling you guys, but I know for a fact that there were some people actually really just laughing with the system and just making use of it and always calling in sick, and whenever we had an exercise they would never go with us, and it was just so frustrated, man. I cannot explain the frustration that I had there, because all the people next to me were like, yeah, not little kids to say, but especially the newest soldiers that come in, man, they just had the easy way, because now with everything happening in this world, they just needed to have more people, so they just take everyone, they just do like this and they just say like, yeah, just come inside, we will take care of you. And whenever people would have some issues and I would tell the people like, hey, you're physically incapable of doing the things that we need to do, I would even have to go to the desk of the captain and I would have to explain myself why I talked in such a way to those people. Like they just told to me like, I'm not treating them well, I'm a bully, I'm this, I'm that. Bro, you are just not what you should be, and I know that many other people feel like this. So yeah, but to finish off, I want to give also a positive touch to this video and to just say what I loved about the army. And to be honest, the first thing is the cool memories, because you make some bonds there and connections with people that you can never get somewhere else, because you spend a lot of time with those guys that you work with, and it was a nice experience. But it's not something I could do permanently and for the rest of my life. But for the time being, I enjoyed it and it was nice. It makes you know what your purpose is. And this is not as in the army is your purpose, but whenever you were outside for a couple of weeks and sometimes you wouldn't have your phone and it's cold and it's raining, you really start to think about what is my life worth and what should I do in my life. Because if you are out there in the rain and you're not thinking about anything, then I'm genuinely concerned about your own thought process. But most of the people are just thinking like, hey, what can I do? What kind of job will get me more money? What kind of job can make me some more, give me some more freedom financially to just invest more or have a nicer life standard? And yeah, that's just a nice thing to realize, because some people constantly live in comfort and they just constantly are inside of their office, or they are just warm inside, and whenever you're outside and it's raining or it's snowing or it's freezing, man, you start to think about a lot of life decisions that you ever made. So it's aura forming. This is just obvious because scope on my face, kid, and it's all black on a lilo. Drugs right albino. If you know, then I know. Yeah, it's just cool to be in the military. The pictures, the experiences, the shooting, the harsh environment. So it's just something that you can be inspired by, you know. So yeah, I think this video will come to an end right now. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Again, as I said, this is just my opinion. I do not want to talk bad about anyone in the battalion that I was in. I was in the artillery unit in Braschat in Antwerp. But yeah, so yeah guys, that brings this video to an end. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys have any more questions about the army or about my life in general, feel free to ask. I will answer the questions as good as possible. And I will see you guys on the next one. Peace out. Bye bye.